you have to have discipline. You have to be willing to work harder than anybody else.
Everything I do has a cause and effect to it. If I don't perform, that dude gets killed. Can I live with myself if that happens? No. So how do I control that? I control as many variables as I possibly can.
Find your family, make your own instrument, something to be proud of. Go into the world, make a difference, find your family.
You never let your weapon go beyond arm's reach, ever. I did. And as I look over the side of it, I see these fucking claws come over. And they're coming down the web. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then this head comes over. Huge head, it's a fucking bear.
Welcome back to Mulligan Brothers. Today's video, as always, was sponsored by Huel. I'm drinking Huel Black Edition, which has 26 vitamins and minerals, 35 grams of protein and slow release carbs to make sure that I can stay satiated and proteined up whilst I make these documentaries. If you want to find out more about these, go to the link in the description. I'll talk about them a little bit later on in the video.
So when I was an instructor, just out of a quick interest, I used to teach situation awareness, you know, understanding what is different around you so you pick up on things early. And what I used to do in Brunei, all the students would come down to the jungle school, and just before they got in there, I would go about 3 seats back and have a shit, go and do a big dump and leave it, don't say anything. And as the students come in, I'll be pretending to set up my fucking drops what I was going to talk about, and I can hear them all going, fucking hell, somebody shit in the schoolhouse, you know, because they're petrified of it as a DS. Anyway, so then I turn around after a bit and I go, what's going on? What's wrong? And then somebody goes, staff, someone's had a shit in the schoolhouse. I went, you fucking kidding me? No, staff, it's here. I went, where? Okay, everybody move forward. We'll deal with that at the end. Anyway, then I did this talking about situational awareness and understanding, you know, like tracking and knowing your environment and why. And then at the end of it, I go, right, where's that shit? And it's gone. And basically what happens in the jungle, fucking dung beetles come in, break up and take it away. And the relevance of the story is this. So if you're following up an enemy, the first thing you want to do, get into the camp. If there's no one in there, you get in quickly, get to the toilet. If you get in the toilet and shit in that pit, it means you're within 20 minutes of them. And that's I like to do my stories, like, you know, but I just saw it there and it just makes me fucking laugh.
That's amazing. I've got like a few questions, but I'm really interested. What other things are there, marker points? Like, I mean, that's such a small thing. How many different little pieces of knowledge like that do you know that help you?
Oh, I mean, all my stuff I do that way because, you know, you walk away from something that will always remind you of why you're doing it. You know, when you're teaching somebody a skill, if it's just the bare bullet points and that's the skill, some people will get it, but you'll always, those students will always think back to that turd and go, fucking, what did I learn from? Actually, the relevance of time and also from the turd, you know, you can tell whether it's a European person, you can tell whether they're eating healthy. There's so much information which you'd never fucking, you know, and they walk away with a hell of a lot of knowledge. One of the things, check the fucking toilet. Is there toilet paper there? Then they're probably Westerners because only Westerners wipe their ass. Is there fucking, you know, is it a solid poop? Firstly, you know that it's within 20 minutes in a jungle environment, that is. That's one. And the other one I used to teach them, same lesson was, animals don't fucking, you know, you'll always see a column of ants, yeah? And fucking blokes, because they're lazy, they'll push through it and break the column. If you break the column again, that can take, I used to time, I don't know what the time is, it'd be about 18 minutes before that column realigns itself and you can still see a break in it. And again, so as you come along, you've seen that, you go, right, we are within 18 minutes, the enemy ain't that far away. Or you've left fucking sign that tells the enemy how close to us they are. Little things like that. And stepping over logs. Animals don't fucking scrape logs. If there's a little bit of a scrape on a log that's fallen across the track, it's a fucking human.
I mean, but that's so tiny, the ant thing, because I'm thinking, I would be like, oh, someone's broke that, someone's spit through here at some point, but then you're getting the information of the time that they were coming through as well.
Because obviously you test it.
Yeah.
In all those environments, you break it and then time it, see how long it does it, and then do it again a bit for,
Does everyone do that? Or is that just more
No. That's what I did. Yeah. I've never been taught that. I did it because I was fucking bored one day and I did that and I went, timed it, same as a turd. I had a turd, I had a fucking shit, because you have to in the jungle. You know, I had a good old country shit and I sat there And I watched the dung, and what happens with the dung beetles is it's a military precision fucking off. The first dung beetle will come in and it won't land on it, it'll fly around it, buzzing it. And it's like it's on the radio going, it's on the radio, lads, I found it, I found the enemy camp, and send the next 4 in. And then 3 or 4 dung beetles will come in behind it, boom, in, and they're breaking it up. And then the one that's like doing the surveillance will land, he'll take the last bit and they're off. It's brilliant. That's the sort of shit. And being in the jungle as well, you know, I don't know why I'm going on about this, but I did love it. When you get into the jungle, never been in the jungle before, I don't know if you've been in the jungle, it's fucking horrendous. Yeah. People don't realise how noisy it is. It's claustrophobic, and it's like somebody's stand in the middle of Tesco's car park and set every car alarm off at the same time. There's all these fucking noises, and you're like, what the fuck? And then when you've been in the jungle for a while and you start to smell like the jungle, that's why it's important not to wash, not to shave, all that shit. You start to smell like it. The creatures get used to you, and they get used to you being in that area. So then once you've settled in, the job's done for you. Any enemy, anybody coming towards you, that noise will kick off again. And you will know somebody's coming close. And they don't do it for animals. It's only when there's human interference. It's just little things. I don't know why. It's from a jungle nose when I was teaching the students out in the jungle.
No, but I think it's so interesting because it's something that, you know, as normies don't think of at all. Because when I was reading the book, there was a moment where I think you was taking a film crew through the jungle or something like that. And one of the producers was like, you were saying, we need to get a move on quick. We're 2 kilometers away from, and he was like, 2 kilometers, Billy. What are you complaining about? And I think you said it's something like 2 kilometers in the jungle is like 10, 15 kilometers or something.
Across normal land, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of terrains and stuff like that, like how much did you have to research and, you know, become, adapt to?
You have to totally fucking embed yourself in the jungle. You have to.
Would you say the jungle is one of the toughest?
Yeah. It's one of the toughest in terms of, it's forgiving. Because other than if you get bitten or something drops on you or everyone wants to bite you and sting you, you know, you're going to fucking suffer. But you can live longer because there is things you can find things to eat. They're generally water, as opposed to the Arctic. The Arctic's the most unforgiving environment ever. You know, if you leave your fucking glove off for more than a couple of minutes, you're going to lose your fingernail. You're going to lose the tips of your fingers. You will die, and you don't get a second chance in the Arctic. But in the jungle, the thing about the jungle is it fucks your body and mind. Because, you know, people become paranoid of it. Visually, everything looks the same. It's so easy to get disoriented. You can literally, I'd be following a patrol. Here's another skill I used to learn. Of the morning, I'd meet the patrol, give them a brief, show them where they're going, make sure they know where, let them go. And I'd hang back and I'd try and skirt around them and follow them. And you could literally, I'd be like that, I'd just check my map myself, get up, I go, fuck, which way have they gone? Because it's within minutes, you just disappeared into the broccoli. And then you could see a bit of a track there and walk down. As soon as you felt a web in your face, they obviously not gone that way. Down that one, no web in your face. No one's got, this is clear, they're gone this way. And then boom, you catch up with them. You know, it's little things like that, and your fucking heart's going like that because you think, fucking hell, I'm going to lose my patrol in the jungle.
And was it those small things that would separate people in the jungle? Like, you know, you're talking about all these tiny little things.
Yeah, to be good.
Yeah, what does it take? What would it take to, you know, to be in the jungle?
You've just got to embrace it. You've got to fucking, that saying, which I don't really like saying, but it's true. You've got to become comfortable with being uncomfortable because the jungle is uncomfortable. You are wet, sweating all day long, you know, around your neck and fucking everywhere's itching and gets sore quite quick. You stink of piss. You get the ammonia in your sweat, and you just got to get used to it and get, you know, putting your wet kit on in the morning while it's still dark and there's leeches in there, there's things fucking crawling about. You've just got to accept it and go, you know what, fuck it, enjoy it. And the smells, the noises, I love it. To me, it's therapeutic. If I fucking ever want to decompress, I'll go in the fucking jungle. When I first went in the jungle, I fucking hated it. It was petrifying, honestly. But I just embraced it. I thought, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere else. I've got to get used to it.
That's some mindset shift there.
Yeah, well, that was me. I was like a young fucking kid. First time I went in the jungle, you know, and the only jungle I'd ever seen was on fucking Tarzan. I'm expecting people in loincloths swinging about and fucking elephants, and it was fucking hideous. There was snakes everywhere. There's things fucking. I remember sitting down for a shit. Everything revolves around a shit with me, unfortunately. I fucking walked. I was on patrol and I needed a shit, so the patrol stops, gets there. I see, oh, there's a fucking half a tree there, fallen tree, fucking rotten fucking tree. So I'm going to have a shit next to it. And as I'm having a shit, I'm like that. And I see this tree's got a set of eyes. It was a fucking boa, all curled up. And this fucking thing is like that, just looking at it, and I'm like that. Oh, like, I'm like... Another shit story. In Brunei, when it was a DS on SAS selection, patrols going off, they're doing their stuff, they're doing recce. I go for a shit. And it's in a web of what they call a cathedral tree. They're fucking massive, beautiful things. Oh, I'm sat having a shit. I've got live rounds on my weapon. I lean my weapon against, say, you never let your weapon go beyond arm's reach, ever. I did. I'm having a shit. And as I'm having a shit, I hear this. And I think, they're coming back, the lads are coming back. And as I look over the side of it, I see these fucking claws come over. And they're coming down the web. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then this head comes over. Huge head. It's what they call sun-kissed bear. A fucking bear. And this thing just sticks its head over, sees me. I'm like, the bear goes, it runs up the tree. I was like trying to get to my weapon. But yeah, anyway, they're the funny stories.
We've spoken today about the ego quite a lot and how where you are today required a death of the ego. But what I want to do is just go into the story of how it developed and how deep you got with it at one point. Like, it was, you really, really did build that up. And I think from listening to the story, I think for where I'm guessing it started before this, but where it really started to build was those obsession over the details. Like how deep and dark you went with that was really far. Like you pushed it really far. I mean, would you be able to explain of when that started, like when you really started to get obsessive with absolutely everything?
It really started in my third deployment. We had a leader come in that was from development group. He came in and his methodology was so different because of where he came from. Everything that he spit out of his mouth, I scooped up as the gospel. Everything he said, because everything he said made so much sense. It wasn't doctrine. It wasn't written in a book. It wasn't force-fed down your throat. It wasn't blouse your boots and cut your hair. It was very unconventional. And because of the way it was, it felt more like a samurai culture. Like everything he says is preparing you for that. Everything you do is preparing you for that one singular thing. Like, well, if you take everything you do over the course of the day and everything I do has an overlay effect with the end state, I'm naturally going to be better. If I stay on topic and I don't let myself stray too far, can I justify everything I do throughout my day? Did it support that? Did I do fitness? Yep. Why did I do fitness? Because it makes me good at that. How's your mindset? Great. I was in a cold plunge today. I was in a float tank yesterday. I'm doing all these things. I'm getting my mindset and I get my mental clarity ready for that, so I can process more information faster. Spending time with the team? Nothing but time with the team. Why? Because I want to know what you're thinking. I want to be able to read your body language from 30 feet down the hallway and teleport myself there to best support you. I need to spend time with the team. Everything I'm wearing, everything I'm listening to, everything I'm saying, does it represent the team in everything I do? Yeah. Am I perfect 100% of the time? Absolutely not. But it's that awareness that everything I do has a cause and effect to it. If I don't perform, that dude gets killed. Can I live with myself if that happens? No. So how do I control that? I control as many variables as I possibly can. I exhaust every resource I can to be as good as I possibly can be, so at least I can fall back and look myself in the mirror and go, not for a lack of effort. I did everything I could. I try to read the body language. I try to teleport myself there. I train on the flat range. I jump. I do everything I can to be as connected to this process because it's the only one that really matters. And a lot of it was purpose-built compartmentalization. Like, I've got to be able to set up walls and boundaries. You seen the movie Heat?
Yeah.
It's Robert De Niro from Heat. Don't get attached to anything you can't walk away from in 30 seconds flat. It's like, am I willing to walk away from my family right now and get on this airplane and never see them again? Yeah. Why? Because I love everybody on this airplane equally. Because I love this job more than I should. So yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice them and their future to get on this airplane with you, because this is the only thing I want to do. So when you do that, your whole routine really starts to line in. it makes it really easy to justify the separation. So the not coming home, the staying late, the volunteering for trips and extra deployments and staying late on deployment and all the things you do, it's because it makes me better. And at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to convince. Well, so-and-so's husband just got killed. That won't happen to me. Why? Because I train more. Do you train more than him? Yeah. Do you really? Like, no. You train just as much as me. I'm just lying to myself. I'm trying to self-justify it. And I think a lot of it, if you listen to that episode with Sean, you heard me talk about Nick Check. I think that was the one I had the hardest time with. I still haven't processed that. I really compartmentalized that whole thing, kind of keep it buried down, but he was really the true north. He lived down the road. He came over and borrowed my dog. He hung with my wife all the time. And he was the crutch I used. Like, why do you do this? Because I have to be able to perform at that level. You see him, you know him, you see what standard we're up against. Like, I have to be able to perform at that level. I have to. And he was always training, always in a gym, always fighting. Just, he was a pro. And she knew it. And she knew everybody else who was in that team was the exact same way. In order for me to hold the standard, meet the minimum standard, I have to do at least that. I was like, I can't do that. It's a 9 to 5. This is not working at some shoe store. Like, I need to do this all day, every day. It's the only thing I need to be. And I justify it by telling her that nobody's going to die if I'm a 60% husband. Nobody. If I'm gone and I miss her second birthday, she will never know. She won't remember. But if I'm not there for her 16th birthday, she'll remember that. Like, it's a weird balance to do, especially when it's happening over and over and over again. It's like, I want to do this job until I'm 60. I want to do it as long as humanly possible, and I don't want to get killed doing it. But if that's what it takes, it's what it takes. I don't want to come home and have to lie about who I am or what I'm doing or the things I'm truly passionate about because it hurts your ego. And that's a lot of what it was, is I built myself into a character that didn't have anything externally drawn from him. I was single. Like, in my mindset, I was single. When I'd come home, I'd pretend to be a husband, I'd pretend to be a father, but I really couldn't because all I wanted to do was go back to work. And that's not because of anything else other than I love that job so much. And everybody that does the exact same thing. That's why there's such a fall from grace when you leave it. Because you never tell yourself you're going to leave it. It's never part of the plan. Not for the people that are really living it day in and day out. Like, it's too much fun. Like, the shit talk, the banter back and forth, the showing up early, the staying late, the everything. Living out of vans and hotel rooms and skydiving, just everything you do together, it's the best time you've ever had. And when you don't have it anymore, it's miserable. Now, if you haven't set yourself up to be able to get out and have a successful transition, it's even worse. And that's what happens to a lot of guys, is they are not prepared to leave. They don't want to leave. They never really thought about it. They come with the idea like, oh, I'll get out and I'll work at Goldman Sachs, or I'll get out and I'll do this. You've never really thought about it. You never really thought about what happens on Monday when you're out of the text chain. There's no email chats. There's nobody that's ever going to call you again and tell you to put that gear on. You're never going to do it again. That's a hard thing to swallow when you've only been putting that on for the last, for me, 17 years of my life. Like, it's kind of it's a surreal moment. And it's one you don't want to live over and over again. How did I get here? How do I get out of here? How do I get that back on? It's a realization it's never going to happen.
I mean, you fought it for a long time. Like, there was many moments by the sounds of it where you were actively being pulled aside, being told to stop many times, and you kind of pushed as hard as you could to continue.
I'd say that's my fault. I mean, that's everybody's fault. You fall in love with that job and you'll do anything to stay there. It's no different than alcoholic. You'll just hide it. Guys hide some pretty serious injuries. I mean, when I was going through training, I broke my femoral neck off skydiving, snapped it off ball and socket, and I did another 40 or 50 jumps on it. I mean, I made it through the rest of training until we graduated, and then I went to the doctor and I was like, hey, man, this thing is real bad. And 2 days later, we did emergency surgery and pumped in 15 inches of titanium into it. It's like, I was not about to get rolled out of that class. Like, I don't care. And doctor's like, do you know how lucky you are to not get a total hip replacement, get medically retired? I was willing to do whatever it took to finish that course. I did not care. How many times I've been hurt overseas and blown this out or blown, I don't care. If I can actively get over there, and that's the ego, that's the selfishness. I think that's the clarity I have now. Like, you know, with all the injuries, with shoulder and hip related, like, was I 100%? No, I wasn't. There's multiple times where it's probably dangerous. Like, I can't reach my shoulder over my head to throw a grenade. My shoulder will pop out of socket. Could you imagine? I reach back to throw a grenade and it falls at my feet. It's like, but you justify in your head because you don't want to say no. You don't want to tap out, and nobody does. It's like, well, if you leave, then who's going to fill your spot? There's not another one. You can't just go pull one from admin. There's not one down there. Like, now you have a commitment to the team you really just don't want to let go of. And for a lot of guys, like, there's something beautiful in that. Like, that guy is willing to do whatever it takes just because he wants to be here that bad. Like, there's something poetic about it. And then at the other side, when you hear people that they'll tap out or they'll get really hurt and they'll have to do an injury, they don't want to do it. They don't want to leave. It's like now they're forced to. And you're like, oh. So a lot of guys, what I do is you just stop associating with them. It's almost like a cancer. It's like they have leprosy. It's like they got injured, they got to pull out, and it's like, whoa, no. They're going through a nasty divorce. Like, they would just kind of scoot over a little bit when that's not what you should be doing. You should be reaching out every single day, making sure they still feel connected, checking in with them, but you don't. You can't, because you don't want their reality to become your reality. You just avoid it. You avoid the contact.
I hope you're enjoying this video so far. Today's video, as always, was powered by Huel. Huel has been an absolute game changer for me and my life. I love drinking their Black Edition. They're ready to drink. It has 26 vitamins and minerals, 35 grams of protein, and slow release carbs. When I know that I can just reach into my bag and grab a bottle of Huel on the go, it has changed my life. And as I'm training for the world's heaviest marathon right now, where I lift 220 pounds of weight for 26.2 miles, and then I do 450 miles with 70 pounds on my back, Huel has been my go-to fuel. Don't just take my word for it. The hardest geezer who ran the length of Africa also downs a couple bottles of Huel whilst he's on his run. So if you want to join someone like Hardest Geezer, or if you've just got a busy life in general, Huel can be an absolute game changer. Head to the link in the description where you can find out more about Black Edition and other products of Huel, and some exclusive offers down below. Thank you to Huel for sponsoring the video. Let's dive back into the episode.
In all the situations that you've been in, you know, around death and destruction, was there a time where, even amongst all of that, you saw pure love or compassion in those situations? Is there something that, you know, you remember?
Oh yeah, my man Sean Patrick and I, my illustrious team leader, who retired from MARSOC a few years ago, now is running his concrete business. As country as you can. Who are your country people in the UK? Would that be the Welsh, or who are your real country folk?
North, I'd say.
Okay.
Yorkshire. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's country, brother. You know, he's Scots-Irish. Hunters from the hills of North Carolina. Honorable. Never will speak about their own physical pain. Nothing ever hurts, because they're woodsmen and they're factory workers, and they worked in the mines. We were invading Iraq, brother, and we were having to put iodine and bleach into water we were taking from the Euphrates that's got, you know, dead animals and humans in it, and could be irradiated too from the war before. And we're all out of food. We're slaughtering goats when we can, but we can't make fires because we don't have the tactical ability. So we dig a hole and have this little piece of grate, wire grate, that we'll make a fire with. And I brought my espresso maker, the one that you put the ramekin and pack it full of coffee, and then you put the water on the bottom and you twist it on, and it's Italian, right? And then you put it right on the fire and it bubbles up. So it's 1 cup of espresso. And we'd put that in a cup, and we'd put in a couple of hot chocolate packages, you know, and mix it up, cover up darkness, and share it around each other. And we'd be laughing, having the time of our life, even though it's savage as hell. And death's around every freaking corner. We're being lit up, and artillery and mortars are coming in, and we're having to drive over bodies and incoming, outgoing. But we share that coffee and that chocolate together. And Sean was hit right next to me in the heaviest of ambushes in the middle of the night. We chopped our way through these guys. And the bullets went right through. A bullet went right through my windshield right here, but Sean was hit here. So I go to reach for him, and the insurgents are coming up in this ditch, and Sean's still shooting with one arm, and he's trying to freaking stabilize his leg. I turn this way, and we've got guys coming this way. My Chafin is shooting so fast and so hard right by my ear. My ear's still gone. We chop our way through this thing. 3 of my tires are blown out. There's bullets all over the freaking Humvee. We somehow get our way out after we've secured the area by killing all the insurgents. Then I've got to get him out of there. And we still got a machine gun that's way up the road that's shooting too. So the car is like a clown car. It's going like this, you know what I mean? And I'm scared to death because my best friend and the hero and the man that's been to Somalia and Haiti, the freaking salty snake eater recon Marine, is leaving me. And it's now me in charge with my other 3 men. And I'm like, holy smokes, we don't even know how long it's going to take us to get to Baghdad. We're way ahead of everybody else. We're just chopping our way through every city. And I get him to the Cassivac, hasty Cassivac with a helicopter and some trucks. And there's some wounded American soldiers. This is far away. This is maybe 20 kilometers backwards. And then there's some wounded Iraqis. And like with tears, but also pride of my man that's leaving. And then the pride he had in his eyes for me, knowing that I'm going to go all the way with these guys. And me gingerly running through his ruck and making sure I get his watch cap, his black watch cap, and his freaking Copenhagen, his dip. And those moments of real humanity, of real humanity and real hope. And, so be it if we all die doing this thing. At least it was real for us. At least we had each other. And, we love each other to this day. All of us, my community, my special operations community, Recon, Marine Corps, even my brothers on the UK, God dang, we're a brotherhood. We're a family like you cannot believe. Find your family. Make your own instrument something to be proud of. Go into the world, make a difference. Find your family.
When I first came in the military, we talk about this, but when I first came in the military, Fort Benning, Georgia, right? Middle of summer, infantry training. The first thing that I learned from the military was how to properly make a bed. 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle, properly tucked. How to make a bed. We're commandos. Well, I was wanting to be. But the thing is, what I realize now being an entrepreneur is that it's the small things. It's the small things. If a bed is not made, is that right or wrong? If the dishes is not washed, is that right or wrong? The answer is not right or wrong. It's what you perceive as a standard. What is your standard? And when I was taught making a bed to standard, right? And how I apply it to the world today is you make your bed, you make it with pride, and you make it, right? And because that momentum, that win, that small little victory, wash the dishes, that small little victory. Getting up early, that small little victory. Doing physical training, that small, it becomes habit. It becomes habit. So when you focus on the little things, it matters because those little things add up to something big. And that applies to being an entrepreneur. You have to have discipline. You have to be willing to work harder than anybody else. Anybody else in the room. And I tell you, man, people don't see it, but look, I was up at 2, 3 o'clock, and some days I didn't sleep. I doubted myself many times, and Masashi Miyamoto Ronin, step by step, walk your journey of 1,000 miles. As people doubt you, walk your journey of 1,000 miles. As you doubt yourself, focus on what's important. It's not truth. It's the narrative that you're placing on yourself. It's not truth. Look at the intelligence. Look at the data. Look at your discipline. Look at your course of action based off of these intelligence. Right. So in the special forces, where we had to go into a country and affect a mission. So let's say, if we're going in to train this FID force. So we go into that FID force and we train it. I don't just go there and train. Who is the element I'm training? Who are these people and what tribe did they come from? Are they pro whatever resistance? How did they communicate in this country? What is the terrain like? What is the elevation? What is the humidity? How thick is the jungle? How soft is the floor? How educated are these people? How did they communicate? You understand? All these different levels, from terrain to physical infrastructure to technology to the human history. So you have to take all this data and then you have to dissect all that data in what pertains to you. Well, I'm working in this province. While everything else is out, this is now your intelligence. I'm working within this region of people, and then the intelligence go down further, right? So the same thing with business is you have to look at that broad industry. Let's just say the filming industry. You guys are in it. So who are the players that you guys look up to, and what makes them good? What makes them good that you took interest in their work? You see, it's not like you're copying them. What makes them good? Take what is useful. Disregard what isn't. Bruce Lee. You must be like water throughout your life.
In terms of your success in business, what would you put it down? What would you say has helped the most, or what aspects have helped in regards to the military, the hardships that you faced before getting into the military? How did those lessons shape you, and which ones did you hold as you was getting into business?
So the thing too is, like, what the military taught me was structure, right? So like I said, from making the bed to washing dishes, the structure, it taught me structure, to not avoid the small things. Attention to detail, we always say, in war, if I'm driving down this route at night under night vision and this box that's sitting on the side of the road, this cardboard box wasn't there for the route. You understand? So it's about attention to detail. Okay, so what the military taught me was just that: attention to detail, mission planning. It taught me discipline. So I was able to take all those valuable assets and apply it to business. It teaches you to be a leader. You have to be a leader in the military. You go to the leadership development schools. As a Green Beret, I had to train, FID forces. I had to be a leader. So I took that aspect of leadership and I brought it into the military. My strict upbringing, it taught me to do shit that I don't want to do. And what is discipline? Discipline is being able to do shit that you don't want to do, right? Based off on what is your end state? What do you want to be? Look, people say too, why do you get up so freaking early? Because it's hard. It takes discipline. I don't want to get up that early. It takes discipline, right? So it's about doing stuff you don't want to do, right? And that's what the military and my strict upbringing taught me. But also what the special forces taught me was to be like water, to be able to form with my environment. At this stage of my life, I had to renew my mind. Right? I had to renew my mind with how I believe on who I want to be. Right? So as a business owner, I had to change the way I view the world. And I learned that through the military, through my strict upbringing, and also, my discipline, as in allowing my mind to adapt to the environment. And I took that from the special forces.